I'm Rachel from Cork, and I'm stepping up to the bar again today with Brian. And Brian, you're gonna help us drink outside of the box. And what are we gonna tackle?
So today, we're going less outside of the box and more just exploring a category.
Okay, so we're taking one spirit or one cocktail?
Well, traditionally speaking, it's not a cocktail because it's not more than 3 ingredients.
It's only 2.
It's only 2, unless you count ice, which some bars will tell you ice is an ingredient. But we're not using ice today.
Okay.
So it's gin and it's dry vermouth.
Okay.
It's a traditional martini.
But what is this sea of glasses that we have set up in front of us?
Well, thanks to Greg from How to Drink, we're doing a matrix.
Bless you, Greg.
So
I've been wanting to do this for a while.
So we're taking 4 different gins that are different styles or just fun to have around, and 4 different dry vermouths.
Okay. Which are the ingredients for
a gin martini. We're not doing the garnish because we don't want it to influence the flavors.
Right.
We're just doing the taste of what this alcohol can bring to a party.
All right. Let's get started.
So really, we're gonna do also traditional portions, which is 1 to 1/2.
Okay.
So we're just doing, since there's 16 of them, we're only doing 1 ounce, 1/2 ounce to keep them smaller today. So we're not really getting into it.
That's us being responsible.
Because there's no spit bucket here.
No.
So I'm just gonna pour some gin, and then I'm gonna pour the vermouths.
Okay.
Talk about them a little bit while we go, and have some fun.
So, the gin lineup. Why did you pick the gins you picked?
Well, the gins I picked 2 London Dries because it's the most popular style, and then I picked an American, which is the aviation.
Okay.
Lots of fun, and then picked an Irish with Asian influences to it.
So something a little left of center when it comes to that category.
But still gin.
So gin at its core, what is it?
Depending on who you talk to, it's spicy vodka.
Okay.
So it's a neutral grain spirit that has then added botanicals through either vapor distillation or...
So there's different methodologies for that infusion in a way.
Yeah, you can either do them through, put them in baskets in the column stills.
Okay.
Or you can add them as separate distillates and make it a percentage.
With the gin then as a neutral grain spirit with the other things, what do I want to say? Blah, blah, blah. Are there parameters around what botanicals are infused in the gin?
There only has to be one.
One.
Gin has to have juniper.
Okay, so with that as the one requirement, then where do people go from there, or where can they go?
Well, they can either look for local influences. There's some of the distilleries down in Kentucky. The bourbon guys are really getting into making their own gins, and they'll use local botanicals.
So based off of the geographic region,
you could get all kinds of different.
Okay.
You can get, there's Scottish gins now that are using, Highland heather.
Neat.
In it, so that's kind of fun, and it's actually, it's made by Scotch guys, so they're having a lot of fun with it.
Gin, I think, is kind of an unsung hero in a way, just because of its flexibility when it comes to that, and even from the standpoint of the different botanicals that you can infuse with. So, how do I want to put this? Gin may not be the most approachable to all.
Right. I mean, if what you remember is that first gin you tried when you were 21
was juniper in your face,
100% Christmas tree, which is what I get out of a basic normal gin, because that's what it's supposed to be. You're missing out on a lot of fun on the category.
So where would you have people start off again if they're starting over and getting to know gin again? Sounds like they're dating.
I mean, it kind of does. I mean, it's like we say with everything when we're trying things. It's you got to stay curious. You got to find out the flavor profile that works for you. You got to know if you want to get into something like Hendrick's, which is cucumber and rose. So if you know you like something with a little bit more.
So do your legwork and do your research.
I mean, there's a lot of different ones out there to try and find. Like I said, this one has a lot of Asian influences. It tells you all kinds of fun botanicals and has gunpowder tea in it. I mean,
why wouldn't you want to try it?
That's a lot of fun. Sipsmith was the first new distillery to open up in London in like 150 years, and they use a copper still, which makes it different and unique than these are all column stills.
Story.
These two are column stills,
okay.
So different processes bring different flavors.
And then I even think of the mouthy gins that have the like flavors infused. Like we tried the blood orange one before,
right?
With
and they
another
have a lemon and they have a grapefruit, which all bring different flavors to them as well. And again, different geographical area.
They have the juniper requirement, but there's a lot of different flavor profiles to consider.
And also a lot of different thought processes in them of how much juniper is in them. There are some that are really heavy juniper.
Okay.
And there are some that are really light juniper.
And that's something I didn't even think to consider is like the concentration per se.
Because some of them, like mouthies, are pretty low on the juniper, so you don't get...
It's low, it's mellow, and the other flavors can come forward.
Right. So it doesn't come through really, really heavy.
All right,
now,
on to the next.
On to dry vermouth, which is the French style of vermouth. It is a fortified wine.
Okay.
But again, they add botanicals, usually some bittering agents. And we're not going the way that Winston Churchill enjoys his martini, which is take the gin, point it towards France, and say thank you. That's all the vermouth he ever wanted.
That's all he wants.
We're going the more traditional. And they bring all kinds of different flavors. They again use different botanicals. That was part of the whole reason that martinis play so well with each other is these two alcohols.
They meld
They played well together. So we went with, this one we went more with different scale of economy.
Okay.
We went with Gallo, which is your entry level when you're just getting into it, figuring out which ones you like.
It's an easy entry point.
Easy entry point. Then we went to M&R, Martini and Rossi, phenomenal. This is your basic everyday,
okay.
Old standard, been around forever.
Got you.
Then we went to Spain. All kinds of funky ones in there, but a lot of fun flavors.
Yeah.
And then, back to an Italian Carpano dry, but it is in the French style.
So will these vermouths have similar profiles, or because they're regionally specific, will they vary?
They will vary.
They will vary, okay.
And that's part of the fun of doing this matrix is, you're trying gins all the same with all the different vermouths. So that way you can say, I like this combination of how it all works out.
Now this is something too that I think even the matrix concept itself, that if you are a gin drinker, if you are a bourbon drinker, a whiskey drinker, whatever it may be, there could be different avenues you could take on a matrix, like take two parameters.
I mean, Manhattans
would be perfect.
Would be a perfect fun one for this. Because there's so many different whiskeys and there are so many different sweet vermouths to put into this.
Oh, now the color even on that one is distinctly different.
Distinctly darker. And much more aromatic as I am pouring them.
We still haven't invented smell-o-vision, unfortunately, or scratch and sniff TV.
Someday.
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 Can hold out hope. So, history of the gin martini then. Like, where did it originate?
I mean, everybody considers it a British drink.
Okay.
1920s, when all the really famous cocktails all started.
It does seem like all of the conversations we have are around 1920s, 1930s. Has the ratio always been that same, what do I want to say, 2 to 1?
Not at all. So In the very early days, it was equal parts. There's also, perfect martinis, which is actually a mix of sweet and dry.
Oh, okay.
Into then the martini as well, so you get all kinds of different flavors. You also have to remember in European lifestyle, vermouth is a cocktail amongst itself. You drink it over the rocks with some lemon.
Gotcha.
Before the meal, it's an aperitif. So
that as itself was a standalone. So incorporating the gin just elevated it.
Right. It took it to that next level, opened up a lot of things. So we're just kind of dive in right into this. We're not gonna both try all of them. We're just it'd just be too much.
Mm-hmm. So what do you look for? So before we even start, what do you look for in a classic gin martini? Like, what are some of the earmarks of things?
I mean, you still want to be able to tell that the gin's there. You want the gin to carry the flavor, and you want the vermouth to accent.
Okay.
That's why I like the 2 to 1. 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
2 to 1, because then the vermouth's not overpowering.
Okay.
And since we didn't make them cold, we're going to get all the flavors right up front. Nothing's muted.
That's the way we like them.
Bold. So
let's start with the gunpowder.
Start with the gunpowder.
You start with the first one. I'll try the next.
Thank you very much.
And cheers from the beginning of this marathon.
Marathon Matrix.
So I would hope that you're still getting a hint of juniper.
Yeah, solid juniper forward, but still delicate on the nose. So I don't feel like I've been hit in the face with it.
Citrusy.
Oh, that was delicious. So I would say
you got the M&R.
Yeah, the dry vermouth came in and balanced it out. There's no harshness. Totally delicate on the palate, but amazingly enjoyable.
To me, there's even with the Gallo being a lighter flavored vermouth, the juniper's not overpowering. Mine's very citrus forward. Just a lot of fun.
Oh, that was really good.
We did start with a really fun gin.
Too fun?
I mean, there's no too fun. And then, so you get the Spanish one.
Okay.
And I'll go back to the Italian. So the color difference between these two might not be picked up on
camera necessarily,
but it's definitely shades.
Yeah. And that would be brought on because of the dry vermouth.
Right.
Correct?
All the extra botanicals that it has.
This one is the only Spanish outlier,
right,
correct?
So it is. So these three are Italian. This one is Spanish, even though they're French style.
So even having tried two from with the same gin,
they're completely different drinks.
Completely different. This one I would put at a dessert level in its sweetness. And the gin is completely dissipated as far as juniper goes.
See, and then this one I'm getting just a lot more of the vermouth flavors coming through. It's more vegetal instead of citrusy.
Okay.
As for the M&R.
I could be a fan.
It's a really nice vermouth. I think that one might win the day, but
might win that whole bracket.
It might, but we'll see how it plays with the other ones. So let's see here. I got M&R, so I'm gonna go with you get Gallo this time. I get M&R.
Cheers.
Yeah, completely different aroma.
It's so delicate on the nose.
It really is so light.
So I have to believe a lot of that has to do with the gin.
So we went from a very, very flavorful, lot of different botanicals to a London dry. So this should be more juniper.
Okay.
But
I'm not getting it. Is that just me?
It might,
My nose broken?
It's kind of fun.
I feel like this one, like they canceled each other out somewhere.
It's much more neutral. Even on the one I'm having, which is
Interesting. So if they're both semi-neutral when it comes to this type of gin with the two vermouths, it means it's the gin.
the gin is a lighter flavored gin.
Lighter
then.
altogether. And it's not horrible, but it's, and that's the wrong word. It's not that it's negative, it's just so despairingly different
Right,
from the others.
From the gunpowder.
Okay. I feel like I'm building my own matrix over here.
All right, and I get Spanish, and you get Carpano.
Oh, now this one on the nose, again, I'm assuming that it's the vermouth that I'm smelling, but it's like it's a delicate floral, so maybe it's how the vermouth is playing with the gin.
And this one I do get a level of sweetness just off the nose.
So that would be, because I called this one a dessert, that would be again the vermouth coming forward.
Almost a little raisiny.
Oh my god, it was so good. This one is tasty in itself. Where I would not request this one again.
I
like this on the first two vermouths. What was this gin again?
That is the Sip Smith. And they have a goose on the front because the copper stills have a goose
neck
on them for the condensator.
Oh, there's always an extra double meaning in there somewhere.
Double entendres all over this business.
It's all over the place. All right, so we are on.
We are on to Fords, and you get M&R.
Okay.
I get Gallo.
Now Fords is one that
I love Fords for cocktails. This is what this is made for.
And I
to be in something.
think it's something that is approachable for people that aren't necessarily gin drinkers.
Right, you can jump right into Fords.
Yeah.
It's not neutral, but it's consistent on everything. You get all the right flavors that are supposed to be in a traditional London dry gin, and it just plays so well with everything.
And I would say it's approachable on nearly everybody's palate. Like, I don't think there's any off-putting
No, it's unoffensive.
flavors. Yeah, but they're still very evident and present.
Yes.
Yeah. Much more gin forward.
Much more juniper. Just a clean. A little bit of the vermouth still comes through.
But it's crisp. And it's crisp to where I can start to distinguish different elements in that gin.
Yes. I would call this clean.
Yes.
It's a wonderful gin.
This is perfect. I would say, even from the respect, I would encourage people to explore the foraged gin in expanding their palate.
Yeah, so if you're used to one alcohol, be it rum, whiskey, scotch, and you're looking to just try gin for the first time, Ford's is definitely one I would try.
If you're gonna step outside of the box, that's a good starting point.
Yes, I agree. So, Spanish.
Which seems to be the fan favorite.
It has, well, being that we're in Indiana, and it is the sweetest one, it might carry.
The Midwest sweet palate.
We do have one.
Creeps its ugly head.
Even into martinis.
I'm not disappointed, but not surprised.
Because it is still, it's not sugar sweet.
No, but it hits those activators in your tongue and your flavor buds, taste buds, flavor buds?
Flavor buds. Just go with it. Flavor buds from now on.
Flavor buds. Anyway, make things up. Oh, this is delicious. I know we're not drinking the same one, but you're gonna have to try this one too.
Well,
is it pretty darn good?
This one's really darn good too.
So between the Fords being having a great presence, and then you add in the Spanish Vermouth that's a little bit sweet, amazing.
Just comes right.
It's that perfect balance. Oh yeah.
All right. So on to Aviation.
Okay.
Now, Aviation started as a traditional American gin, and then a celebrity got a hold of it.
And it became
still Aviation, but then Ryan Reynolds. You know, we all love Ryan Reynolds. He's Twitter amazing. He's
Deadpool
fantastic.
amazing.
You know, he was made to play Deadpool.
He was.
So, you know, he then got into Aviation. He pumped in a lot of push into it to get people to try it, and they did. And then he made a lot of money off of it. So
Can't argue with that.
American dream
There we
for
go.
the Canadian.
Cheers to Ryan Reynolds. Very unique.
I almost taste more spices.
And that's where I was getting like something from the savory side.
I'm
of
going
things.
with fennel.
Okay.
Comes out a lot because it reminds me of Italian sausage.
Is that what I'm getting? 'Cause
That's what I get.
I was trying to get to not licorice,
But fennel being right there,
right.
Anise, licorice, fennel, you know,
Yes.
same family. It's definitely has that on the nose and on the flavor.
You could have some really great pairings. Now even getting into this a little from the savory aspect of it with the spice being forward. Think of pairing this with food.
Yeah, this can be a lot of fun.
Tons.
A lot of fun.
Okay. I'm a fan. Ryan Reynolds might have me sold there.
For more than one reason.
Well, added bonus.
All right, so I get the Spanish one.
Our last ones.
And this one might actually not play super well together. Sweet and
That I
savory.
could see that could go left of center real quick.
Well, let's find out.
No. So,
Still good.
but is it
It doesn't
just,
play as well as, well,
As
since I got to
the
try
first
the
ones?
Sipsmith, that one played a lot better with the Spanish than the Aviation
And I think
does.
that from the standpoint that the Aviation seems to be spicier
versus the
savior
sweeter
versus
of the
yeah.
Vermouth, where this one probably is really
It's-
knocking it.
Yes, it's dialed in. So it's a really good balance on the two that allow the gin to be forward, but then that follow up, that finish is that sweetness. Okay, I could be a fan.
Still a lot of fun.
Yes. All right. So, using this gin and the Matrix to kind of help people step outside the box a little bit. You know, not ordering the usual, or even, you know, when you get together with your friends to sample something new, sample something different.
I mean, this is a great almost party thing.
Almost.
You could get friends together.
Make the whole Matrix.
Everybody
divvy
brings
it up.
a
Yep.
bottle of something.
Yeah.
And then you do it.
Yeah.
Hey, you might not have as many glasses as you need, but
Bring those too.
There's nothing wrong drinking out of solo cups.
There we go.
You're still drinking.
You'll divide and conquer.
You're trying new things. Get out there, stay curious.
Yeah.
There's so many things to try out there that are great and amazing that we get lost as we said, oh, I don't drink that. My grandfather drank that.
Right.
That's a gin line.
Yeah.
But there's great cocktails out there.
And even looking at how just changing one of the primary spirits, so either the gin or the vermouth, just really elevated or subdued or balanced out a cocktail is a great exploration in what these spirits are capable of.
I mean, as most humans, we love to quantify things. You could do scorecards.
Perfect.
You know, everybody gets a scorecard, you write it all out, and at the end of the night, what was the favorite?
What's the winner of the Matrix?
You know?
I love it.
It could be so much fun.
Well, Brian, thank you as always, and once again for stepping up to the bar and helping us sort of drink outside the box a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah,
having some fun.
It was a little structure to it.
But it's a lot of fun still.
Still a lot of fun. So we just want to encourage you to step outside the box with us. Try a gin matrix or comment in the comment section below with what matrix that you think we should try next or that you have tried. I mean, there's so many options.
There's
Manhattan, I think I saw something where Greg was doing a margarita matrix.
Did do a margarita matrix.
Might be perfect for pool party summer happening.
There's a lot out there.
Just saying. Follow all the fun we're having by following all of our social media channels, and make sure you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel to find out first. But if you really, really want to find out first, sign up for our email newsletter at capandcork.com. All right, cheers.
Cheers.